So I put my iPhone 16 Plus against the Sony ZV-E10 in the same lighting conditions, the same settings, and the same situations. And I'm going to show you exactly which one beats the other. And by the end of the video, you're going to know whether the $700 upgrade is worth it or if you should just stick with the phone in your pocket. All right, so let's start with the visual test. On screen, you're gonna see two pictures side by side. You're gonna see various ones in good lighting conditions, bad lighting conditions, and then you can make up your mind on which one's better. Personally, I don't really see a difference, at least not a big one. You can tell that the images were taken with different cameras, but at least to me, it really isn't clear which camera is better. At the end of the day, and at least for YouTube, which is where this review is really headed, what you should be caring most about is what the viewer sees and the experience they feel. So if they don't really notice that you're either using a camera or an iPhone, then I really don't think you should be spending the $700 for it. Either way, the pictures are on screen, so you guys can make up your own mind. And now let's talk about the audio test. So although I don't really recommend for you to be using either the built-in mic for the Sony or for your iPhone because it just gives a lot of echo either way, if you do want to use those and you are planning on doing so, then here is going to be the mic test on both of those. So this audio is coming from my iPhone 16 Plus. It is about 2 to 3 feet away from my face in a pretty big room that hasn't been treated in any way for audio, which means that what you hear really is how the phone sounds straight up. All right, and now this is the audio from the Sony ZV-E10. You guys tell me what you think. Which one do you think sounds better? Again, I'll leave it completely up to you. The camera is also only about 2 to 3 feet away. It is right next to my iPhone, so the audio that's being picked up should really be the same one. So in terms of practicality and setup, one thing that the iPhone is obviously gonna win in and just be a lot better in is practicality. The iPhone is so practical because you literally just turn it on and start recording. There's nothing you really need to do. And if you do have a mic, you can just plug in your lavalier into the bottom of the mic or into your MacBook or something similar. Either way, it's much easier than the process for recording on a camera. With the Sony camera, you're gonna have to make sure that you have the SD card for it. So that's obviously going to be another $30 to add on top of the $700. You're also going to need to make sure that all of the batteries are charged always, which if you have one, isn't that bad. But if you have a lot more, you're also going to need to buy things to charge those batteries as well. You're also going to need to buy a tripod, which could be another $30 if you buy a cheap one, or much more if you obviously get a more expensive one. With the camera, you also have to learn about the main three things on the camera, which are the shutter speed, the ISO, and the aperture. You're gonna have to watch some YouTube videos on it to properly learn what each of those things are. And then when you're recording, taking pictures or anything else, you're gonna need to make sure that those things are also in line with what you want and that they actually look good. An iPhone is incredibly practical because it does all of that automatically for you. You don't need to be setting it up. And if you're buying a camera, it really isn't so that you could have all of those things done automatically. It's really less about how long it takes you to set up and more about the actual practicality and mental load of things you need to keep in check with each of them. And obviously, let's not forget the fact that the Sony ZV-E10, due to being a camera recording at a much higher quality with more settings, dies a lot quicker. So while your iPhone can record for a few hours, because I've tested it myself, the camera, at least for me, really only gets from 1 to 1.5 hours. So you're gonna need to be constantly charging those batteries if you do long shoots. Next up is the question of portability. And again, with the iPhone, it's just much more portable in every way. With the iPhone, you don't really have to pay attention whether it's with you or not, because most of the time it's gonna be. With the camera, there's a lot more things, like I previously mentioned, that you have to keep track of, and moving all of those parts around does get annoying. So you'd be pretty much carrying a full bag of things for a job that can be done almost as well by your iPhone. And again, I say almost as well because I don't really see the difference in the pictures that I took and the pictures that I provided for you guys. But if you guys do see the difference, then well, that's up to you. And I can almost guarantee that you're gonna start hesitating to bring it around everywhere because it isn't as simple as your phone. It's a whole new bag that you have to carry with a bunch of other things. Another thing that I slightly touched up on is the cost, because you're not only paying $700, which nowadays is a brand new phone, but you're paying the $700 only for the camera body, which means you're still gonna have to buy a $100, $200, or $300 lens, as well as a $30 SD card, a tripod, whichever one of you're choosing, a bag to carry all of that, a bag to carry the tripod if it doesn't bring it already, and all of that put together does add up to a lot more than $1,000. So although the camera body is $700, keep in mind that you're probably going to be paying a lot more. So realistically, if you do end up buying the camera, you're going to pretty much be buying into a whole ecosystem of new things that you're going to need to learn how to use and carry around. So let's talk about who each device is actually for. And in my opinion, if you didn't notice throughout the entire video, I just feel that the iPhone does everything that the camera does. Maybe just a tiny bit worse, but still, it does everything you need it to and at much more convenience. I think the only people that would really need a $700 camera are the people that are limited by the iPhone's one and that know that they could get a lot more from the actual camera than the iPhone is giving them right now. It's people that know how to handle the shutter speed, the ISO, the aperture, how to handle all of the different settings that it has, and who are used to using and having to carry around all of that big luggage that comes with carrying a camera. Because if you want to buy a camera because that's something that you need because you're trying or starting out on YouTube, then let me tell you that that's something you don't really need at all. It's going to be complete overkill to buy it unless your specific type of content or something similar is something that requires a really high quality camera, which if that's the case, you really wouldn't be looking at a $700 camera. You'd be looking at spending more than $1,000 with everything put together. So after testing both of them, my conclusion is pretty simple. If you're a beginner, somebody getting into YouTube, or even an aspiring filmmaker, I think everybody should start with the iPhone. Once you use the iPhone and you start to feel limited by it because of the things it doesn't do that you know a camera does, then you can start looking towards spending the big amount of money on one. If that isn't the case though, and you're still starting out, whether in filmmaking, YouTube, or something similar, then the iPhone in your pocket is going to be more than enough. Sometimes the biggest upgrade you can do to your content or something similar isn't necessarily buying better gear, but it's learning how to perfect what you already have. What do you guys think? Do you agree with my take? Do you not agree with it? What do you think about the topic? Which one do you prefer? Which one do you currently use? Leave it all in the comments down below and I'll try to answer as soon as possible. I do have another video that has a lot of insight on the Sony ZV-E10. So if you are interested in that, I'm gonna have a card on screen right now. And there's going to be an annotation at the end of the video so you could click it and go straight in. And I guess since there's really nothing left to be said, I'll see you guys in the next one.